everyone. Good afternoon for the people who are watching this on live. And hello to you for everyone who's watching this on replay. I hope you're doing okay. I'm going to jump straight into today's video. Always starting this video by introducing myself, so that gives people a little bit time to come on the live. And I'm doing that by introducing myself really shortly, introducing today's topic and what we're going to cover. So every week on Tuesday I do a training, and you can watch all the videos back on my event page. And this week's training was around commitment, and every Thursday. So this video is always like an additional perspective on that topic. And today I'm going to cover a personal process that led to a big commitment that I made in my life, and I'm going to reveal what that commitment is today with you guys. Super excited about it. But first, let me introduce myself very shortly. My name is Meerte. I'm a 35-year-old Dutch entrepreneur who moved to London in September 2020, in between the two lockdowns. And the reason I'm sharing that with you is because it all is part of the big commitment that I made. So what do? I help entrepreneurs to grow their business to grow their pain into a successful future power. So I help entrepreneurs and leaders such as yourself to turn that fire inside into a powerful business or organization. At the same time, I'm building a global movement to help young girls and women on an identifying journey in life. So busy, but very excited to be here with you. The reason I share this with you is I work a lot of one-to-one with my clients, and they follow my Purpose into Power program. But I want to give my community as well the tools and techniques that from different topics in my program, so that will help you keep moving forward. So every week I cover the basics of some steps that I cover in my program. If you are watching this video right now, you probably are an entrepreneur or leader of a purpose-driven organization or business. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean a business or an organization from the heart with a social cause that can either be an NGO, that can be a civil society organization, a social business, social enterprise, or you are a sole trader or an entrepreneur who works for, who transforms their passion into a profit. So I have my notes here, so sometimes I'm looking down, and I do that because I prepared everything, and I want you to get all the information that I prepared for you guys today. So as a purpose-driven entrepreneur or leader, you might not always have the right resources in place. So maybe right now you're struggling to see the bigger picture, or maybe right now you don't have all the resources in place to turn your vision into reality. And by resources, I mean either strategy, network, money, team, or even a combination of that. If that sounds like you, keep watching, because I'm here to help you. Today I will share one of my personal processes that had to do with commitment. In Tuesday's training, and if you haven't watched it yet, please watch it back. I was teaching you the 3 basic steps to create commitment in every area of your life. So the 3 basic steps were describe/summarize, terms and conditions, and agreement. Today I'm going to add 2 elements to that as well, and I'm going to take you back in a personal story of my life that had to do with a big commitment that I'm going to reveal in a bit. So first of all, I want you to ask, have you ever had a time in your life where you felt stuck? Well, I have many times, and from my experience is that all those times were also my accelerator for growth, although it didn't always feel like that at that moment. I want to take you back to April 2020, the time where we all know COVID came, and I was working as a strategic and trusted advisor for different corporate organizations in Holland, and all the corporates, they were not allowed to take aboard any external people. So all of a sudden I lost my business. In the first time I was overwhelmed, I was scared, but at the same time I was already in the process of transforming my business to the next level. I was already in the process of transforming my business into an online model and an on-stage presence. Because I wanted to be a public speaker, I want to motivate and inspire other people with my message. But back to April 2020, I decided when I lost the business to commit to focus on myself. I didn't know exactly what it held back then, but I felt like I had to commit to myself in order for me to make the changes and the growth that I wanted. And as you all know, probably know, in COVID time was a really good time to really do introspective work, to really reflect on the things that are important to you, and to really rediscover what is important to you. So that was step 2, terms and conditions. I come to that later. So I really decided to commit to myself and take the time to really investigate what is it that I really want. So sometimes before you can even describe your commitment, there's always a time of investigation. And let me tell you this, you are already doing the work. And I'm going to explain to you in a bit what do I mean by that. I see Simona's watching. Hey Simona, hello lovely. Good to have you here. This is also very relevant for you. So, as I said, I have my notes here, so I don't want you to miss anything. So what do I mean by that? Before you can describe your what is it exactly that you want to commit yourself to, you do your research. For me, back in those days, so back in April 20, it meant a lot of reading, a lot of courses, a lot of conversations, a lot of meditation, a lot of visualization, and a lot of mind mapping. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the term, but I will do a training on that later because it's very powerful. So I was literally thinking to myself, in my current life, is this what I want? Am I in the environment that I really want? Am I surrounded with people and techniques and energy that is really empowering me? I didn't feel empowered. I didn't feel like I was in place. I felt like I was in the opposite of where I wanted to be, but I couldn't describe it back then at that moment. So I knew that I was there, I was on a mission that was bigger than me. And I knew that it would take some time for me to really commit to that mission. And don't forget that I was already doing a lot of hard work, such as yourself as well. I always, in my trainings with my clients, I always use the example of renovating a house. I'm not sure if you've ever done it. I've done it once and I'm not really keen to do it again, but maybe you recognize this, that you have to do a lot of the small work in order for you to do the big work afterwards. So you often forget that all those small stepping stones, all those small things that you are already doing are needed for you to eventually decide, this is where I want to commit to. So fast forward to July 2020 in London, you find me in a conference room sitting at day 1 of my business and marketing school. I was there as a result of my drive to grow my personal and my professional life. The night before the training, I remember I felt drained. I was like, what am I doing here? I suddenly was blank, and that was good because at the same time I decided to trust the process and to trust what was coming to me. So the next day, the training started with my business mentor Justin James, and the first question was, and obviously I would do the same if I were him, like, write down your avatar. And there I went again. I was writing down, okay, male leaders, 40 to 55 years old. And I just felt like even more drained than before, because here's the thing. What I discovered back in Holland was that one of the things that I didn't want to do was work for my current clients, because they were all men. They were all in a situation that I didn't want to serve them. So when I was writing that down, I felt like panic coming up. I was like, oh no, I don't want to do this anymore. So how did I get from that state to a state of deciding what I do want to do? So there's a whole process in between. And this is one of my key messages to you, is that committing to something is not something that you do from today to tomorrow. Some decisions take a process of, in my case, 6 months to eventually really decide to do that and really agree on that. So, but before I go there, I want you to give a little bit more background. What happened right there, right then? So I was sitting down and I felt like, okay, I'm even more confused than when I came here. So what did I do? What did I do instead of like taking the panic taking over? I asked for help. One of the coaches there was Chloe, and Chloe is also someone that I work really closely with in these days. That was the first time I met her. I didn't know a lot of her background back then, but intuitively I asked for her help, and I said to her, maybe I should write down females. What do you think? Little did I know that she was a female, she works for female entrepreneurs, but that aside. So that was the first time that I really considered making a change in my business, but I didn't investigate it. But intuitively, I knew there was something there. But still, I could not decide yet, male or female. I was literally stuck in that. And what happened in your brain is that your brain doesn't like to choose, because it means that either you win or either you lose. So if I choose men, I lose women. If I lose women, I choose women, I lose men. So your brain doesn't like that. So what happens is that you don't make a decision, and that what's happened with me as well. So afterwards, I talked to Jason, and he literally flipped my script, and we created a really nice business model and a really nice business concept. But still, for my consultancy business, I wasn't really clear on what I really wanted to do. It needed more time. What I did decide back then is that I felt that this was an environment for me to be in order for me to get the answers that I was looking for. So sometimes in the process of committing to something, you find yourself in different stages and different layers. So you don't have to have like the whole description of the whole summary of what you want, or every terms and conditions. For me, it really worked to investigate on the go, because I really wanted to see, okay, if I do this, this fulfills one of my needs in terms of conditions, and this fulfills one. So you keep moving forward, and the benefit of that is that you slowly start to form something that really works for you, that really fits with the things that you want. So back then, when I decided to do the mentorship program, I moved within 6 weeks to London, and that was in September 2020. And the last 3 months, I've been really working on shaping, forming the business, really, and doing a lot of inner work. What do I really want to do? So my terms and conditions are being expanded, if that makes sense. So I can see what is it that I want, so I can describe it, and therefore I can create my own terms and conditions around it, and that's very powerful. And as I said in the training, like what a lot of people tend to forget in the last stage of commitment is making an agreement. Like, I agree that I'm going to do that. I'm really committed to do that. I will come to that in a minute. So what happened for me the last few months, and I really want you to take this in, because all the hard work that I've done before, so all the renovating that I've done, all the small work that didn't really seem significant at that time, turned out to be like my biggest fundament for the decision that I took this week. Because this week, and here I'm going to reveal it, this week I decided that I am going to work and I'm going to guide female and aspiring female entrepreneurs to turn their past pain into their future power, to turn their traumas into their treasures, to turn their adversities into adventures. And how am I going to do that? With all different kind of programs that I already designed based on the years of experience I have in guiding CEOs and leaders of other organizations. So it feels really good to say this, because when at the time when I this weekend when I took the decision to do that, I immediately felt a shift, and I felt this is good. I needed the time to get there. So I have a couple of messages for you today based on this story, and the reason I shared my personal story is so that you can really imagine it in your own life. So my message for today is, whenever you feel fear in this process, know that fear is a lack of information. So either it's like functional information that you're missing, or it's information that you're missing from within. So my advice, what really worked for me, is I did an investigation on the go. I decided to trust the process. I decided that the universe and the higher intelligence and everything that's surrounding me will provide me with the right things at the same time. I also embraced the difficulties that I faced on that path. But remember that fear is a lack of information. Whenever you feel it, just investigate with yourself, like, what is the information that I need now that is going to help me in making that decision or determine my terms of conditions. The second one is, I want you to be aware of the balance between making a well thought decision and postponing a decision. I've been talking recently to a lot of women that are in situations that they know they have to make a decision, but I think that they already took a decision. It's like accepting the decision and creating actions around that not necessarily are always really nice to do. So be honest with yourself. Are you still in the process of making a well thought decision, or are you postponing a decision because you think it's too hard or it's too painful? So acknowledge it for yourself, don't judge yourself, but when you know it, then you can take further action on it. And my third one is, learn to listen to your inner voice. It's here to tell you something, and you don't have to do anything for it. You already know, you already have all the answers inside. The thing that you need to do is to make and take the time to let your voice talk to you. So what works for me is I go for a walk every single day. I do my meditation, I do visualization, and I do mind mapping. That really helps me to get everything that's in my head onto paper, and then I can structure it. So we, especially women, we have so much in our heads sometimes that if you literally take a distance and you're literally going to write it down, map it out, strategize, or just mind map everything that you have in your mind, it will definitely help you to gain more insights on like everything that is going on in your head, but also how to take it from there. And most importantly, and this is one I really want you to remember, is a massive tip. When you start dreaming about the situation that you want, detach yourself from the current situation. So if you dream within the current situation, how can you like really have see it in its full potential? So if you detach yourself from an existing environment, that also means like your personal environment, for example, like your relationship or stuff like that. Like try to really focus on the thing that works for you, the thing that you really want, and dream like everything is possible and create your ideal picture. And from there, start mapping out like what are the steps that are needed and what is realistic in my current situation to move towards that dream. Because here's the thing, it's not like you're here and here's a dream and you go like this. Sometimes we might wish that is true, but the reality is that isn't. We are every external environment, everything that is in our current life will have to find a place in you moving towards that dream. So the three basic steps were summarize, describe the commitment that we're talking about, your terms and conditions, And the agreement, I want to place something before that, and that is dream. So dream, describe, terms and conditions, agree, and I want to add a fifth one, and that is enjoy, because it's also fun to do, and I want you to enjoy the process and know that whenever you need help or guidance around this, please reach out to me or someone else in a community that you know that you feel safe to talk to about this topic. So that was my personal process, and with some really good insights hopefully for you when it comes to commitment. And I will see you next week. The next training is around people, roles, rules and responsibilities, and it's not what you expect from it. So I'm going to surprise you with that. I will see you next week, and for now, have a nice day. Bye.